Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. It has been such a long time since we got together. You know, I have thought about it off and on for almost 2 years now. I have missed doing this. What has made me feel so good is I've had so many of you asking when I'm going to start cooking again. When are we going to be back together again in the kitchen? So I'm grateful to you and I'm thankful that you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed doing it. So we are going to try to get on a schedule so we can get together in a maybe weekly. That would be awesome. And if there are some things that you really want me to try, let me know, because I've got a list of things that we're going to do. We may go back and hit some of the ones that we have done previously, but if there's something you really want me to try, let me know. No promises, because if I can't do it, I can't share how to do it. So what we're doing tonight is chicken, gnocchi, and mushroom skillet. This is going to be such a wonderful recipe to keep because it's one pot. Now, I have actually already cooked the chicken, and all you had to do with the chicken, the recipe calls for skin on chicken breast. I don't cook the chicken skin. So mine are boneless, skinless chicken breasts. All we needed to do to start was to season them simple, salt and pepper, little bit of flour on both sides, put them in your skillet with a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, brown it on one side, 4 to 5 minutes, and then flip it over. When you flip it over, stick it into an oven that's already preheated to 400 degrees, so that's pretty hot. It will stay about 15 minutes. When you pull it out, it looks something like this. And I already got those ready, so we didn't have to wait that 20 minutes while they were cooking. And they're still good and warm, but they're going to go back in this pan. So everything else is going to be done in this pan, and the chicken will come back. Listen, I wanted to tell you too, this of course is glass cooktop. I had thought for years and years and years I couldn't use my cast iron skillet. So I researched it a little more, and you can use it. They recommend a diffuser. I don't have a diffuser. I don't really know what that is. So I just went ahead and started using it on my cooktop. I have had no problems. Now, I will tell you, they do warn you, if I've had this in a hot oven, like if I've made cornbread at like 425, I'm not going to bring it out and set it on my glass. I mean, it could shatter. So, good thing to know. But now, I don't want you to get all excited and pull out your cast iron and then let me know that I owe you a new stove. That would be a bummer. But I haven't had any problems with it. Like I said, I'm just really careful to make sure that if I know this has been in the oven and really hot, not to set it on glass. But I wouldn't set it on glass in any place else either. So, okay, let's get started. Chicken, gnocchi, and mushroom skillet. I will tell you, I talked to our son BJ today. He was trying to tell me how to say gnocchi. It's probably not right, but you know what it is because it's in a little package. It says gnocchi. I tell you, I have an Italian cousin, Tom Pissarro. He makes his gnocchi, and he's made it with his sons and his grandsons. So how awesome is that? You know, maybe one of these days I'll make gnocchi with Tom. But today, Gia Russa made it. But it was delicious. I have made this before, and it was delicious. So we are going to start. Heat our pan back up with just a tablespoon of butter. And then we're going to add the mushrooms. Let me get that turned up. I've got my mushrooms all sliced. You know, the thing is, if you want to buy the ones that are already sliced, whatever's easiest, whatever you can find. The thing I think when we stop and look at cooking and cooking together and cooking for our families, you know, I don't know when you'll watch this, but today's International Women's Day. And I was thinking today how very rewarding it is to be a woman and to be a mom, but it's hard. And it gets easier. But when you're just trying to get a meal on the table, take the shortcuts that you can take. I've got several here that I'll share with you, and I don't have a problem with the shortcuts at all. And it's what you sit down at the table with That's what I want to encourage you to do. Sit down with your family. If it's with a sandwich, sit down, enjoy the time together, talk about your day, whatever you need to do. Just enjoy the time with your family. And just know that you'll get to sleep at some point in your life. So don't worry about it. Okay, so we've got our mushrooms cooking. They're not cooking very fast. My photographer husband wanted me to move over here. I'm not as comfortable with this one as I am this one, but I hear them cooking now. It's all about how it looks, you know. We've got to make sure it looks good. So that's awesome. Okay, when we get these going, I'm going to let them cook a little bit longer. We need to season them with salt and pepper. This is something that I have just fallen in love with. I saw somebody use it on the Food Network, which I live there. So, salt and pepper. How cool is that? You know, I do have the pepper mill, which I love, and I do have kosher salt, but I loved this, that I could just have fresh ground all the time. And it's easy. I don't have to do it. So I think I got those at Walmart or TJ Maxx, someplace like that. And who doesn't want to go there? So these are going to cook for about 3 minutes. So we'll just get those. When we see them start turning brown, you know, the thing is with mushrooms, I was always told not to season them until the very end. But this recipe seasoned them right when they put them in. We didn't have a problem. I think the thing is with mushrooms, if you season them with salt, lots of times it pulls all that moisture out before you're ready for it. But as you can see, this is not a ton of moisture in that pan. And all it has in it is the butter that I put in it, which was just a tablespoon. So now they're really starting to go. So we'll let them go a little bit longer. Apple just fell down. You may see an animal run by every so often. Those are our girls, Wrigley and Addison, and she thinks I'm talking about her. And she's right, and she's over here. But instead of locking them up in the room, I don't mind for them to be running around. I hope you don't mind. That's our life, you know. We have pets, so they're all around. Okay, these look good. So our next step, and I'm following the recipe really closely since I've only made it a time or two. So that's our mushrooms, and they're cooking. We're going to add a shallot. Now, I don't usually buy shallots, but I'm going to have to turn this on. Hope that doesn't make too much noise. But I do know that a lot of people will like the flavor of an onion, but maybe they don't want, hello, it's just too strong. So I did get a shallot this last time. So this is a shallot that I have left over from when I tried it originally. And I like them. They're so cute. They're so fun. So, and they smell wonderful. So there is our shallot. We got to add the rest of our butter. Let me get that. It just called for 2 tablespoons of butter. And it calls for unsalted butter. I just kind of rein back on my salt because all of my butter is salted. And I've got my good garbage bowl there. Hope y'all do that when you're cooking. You'll notice too, this is not like when I'm normally cooking. I've got everything measured out just so I can kind of move us along. You know, I'm usually running all over the kitchen. It helps so much if you go ahead and get everything ready. And sometimes I realize it's not always easy, is it? Okay, so that is going to cook for just another couple of minutes. Then we're going to add our gnocchi. And this is shelf stable. You find this where you find your pastas. So I never really used it. I loved it when I used it the other day. So I think I'll use it more. It's really good. It's not expensive. And like I said, homemade would probably be delicious, but I'll have to get my my training before I can do that. Okay, so now we're going to add that gnocchi. And let me see what it calls for. I don't think I need, it says 17 ounces. Well, this is 16 ounces, so all that's going in. I just break it up a little bit. I'm sure as you stir it and as it warms up, it will separate. But that way we do that. Now that we have that in there, we're going to add our garlic, which it's 3 cloves of garlic. And while I'm stirring this, I'm going to show you. I don't mind to mince up garlic if I have time, but I love this product. You actually keep it in your refrigerator, and it even tells you that 1 teaspoon is 1 clove of garlic. So that was 3 teaspoons of garlic, which that would take a while to get all chopped up. So I don't mind that shortcut at all. It tastes wonderful. It's super fragrant. It smells wonderful. And this is a quick cooking. And this says it takes 2 to 3 minutes. I think the recipe is having us cook it about 3 minutes. But stirring it around, getting all that butter, getting those shallots and garlic all over it. Smells wonderful. Okay, so that's cooking. What we're going to do now, I don't know if you can tell, man, they look delicious. They are so coated with all of that flavor. Now we're going to add some liquid. We have 3/4 a cup of chicken broth. I turned this down. I may turn it up just a little bit more. Because you want to be careful when you start adding liquid to a hot pan, it's going to splatter and splash on you. So be careful. Make sure that if you need to, you can turn that down just a little bit. Then we have 3/4 a cup of light or heavy whipping cream. This is just heavy whipping cream. So you can see we've kind of made a cream of mushroom soup, which, you know, Campbell's is getting a rest tonight because that's normally where I go. But this works well. It comes together quickly. It will start thickening up. The thing we're going to do is, when we get to, this is just going to take another minute or two. When it comes to a simmer, we're going to let it thicken. It's going to take about 3 to 4 minutes. We're just about there. The simmer part. And then I'm going to, it will call for me to add this mustard, but not until the 3 to 4 minutes is up. So let me kind of figure out where we're at, because I don't want to do it. I think the last time I made it, I might have cooked it a little long, and the broth got pretty thick. So, but doesn't that look good? It is simmering now, so we'll give it just about 3 more minutes. And then we've got a few more things to put in. I wanted to tell you, we're going to have to do, we've got it says dark greens. I just always go to a spinach, like a baby spinach, just because I'm familiar with that. I know I like the flavor of it. I know I like the ease of it. This is already pre-washed and everything, so when we get to that point, we're just going to dump that in. We're also going to add cheese, and I bought the kind it asked for. Lots of times I don't do that, but I wanted us to have this Parmigiano Reggiano. I usually have a Parmesan block or something in the refrigerator, and I'll just use that. So for you all, I bought the fancy cheese. So I hope we like it. And then I think the last time I made this too, I didn't have the Dijon mustard, and I just used a spicy mustard, which was really, really good. But got you the Dijon mustard. So we're going to put that in just a little bit once we get another minute or so. You know, the thing is, the chicken is already cooked, and I tested it. 165 is where your chicken has to be. And if you want the skin on, absolutely. You just cook it with the skin down first after you've seasoned it, and then put some flour on it. But like I said, we're not really, I'm not saying I don't like chicken skin. If I was having chicken from Kentucky Fried Chicken or Popeyes, I'd be having skin on chicken. But what I cook here at home, skinless. Alrighty, just 1 more minute, and we'll add the other things. Hope y'all keep your garbage bowl. I have mine here. Oh, I wanted to show you, because it talks about grating, and sometimes you think, oh, I don't have a grater. This is a microplane. This is what I use for my cheese. I love this. It's good. I think I also used it for my lemon zest. You use a lemon in this. If you don't have this, you can find this. This is just a box grater. This would help. And if you have to go buy something, instead of just going to buy this, I'd get the box grater because it will let you do all kinds of slicing and shredding. I use it all the time. If I'm not using the little one, I'll pull that down. I leave that out all the time. Okay, so we look like we're ready for the next step. Let me get this out of our way. It's all good. I'll have to clean it. It's not a problem. Let me see what I can do. I got excited about going to the next step and put the gnocchi on the stove. Okay, so we are to the point where we are going to, it's already thickening. We're going to add the mustard. And let me get my little, oh, that's what hit the ground. Okay, well, that's not a good thing. This is just 2 teaspoons of mustard. And like I said, this is Dijon mustard. You know, when I think things like this, they're kind of, if you don't like mustard, but a Dijon mustard to me is really mild, but I like mustard anyway, so, and that smells really good. Okay, so the mustard's in. We're going in with the lemon zest, which that's just half a lemon grated, and that just brightens it up. And then we're also going to add lemon juice, which is just a half a lemon juiced. And really, that just kind of, it thins it and it lightens it up a little bit. And we're also going to stir in the greens at this point. Now, because we're adding 8 ounces of greens, we may need to put a little more salt in it. But let me just get all this in. And I know it looks like we're not going to even be able to get this in here. We'll be hunting for the spinach when it's all done because it cooks down so quickly. You just kind of stir it around. Let me use this to catch my little gnocchi that got out on the stove, so I'm not having to peel them off. You just try to work it down, and what you'll have to do is reach under, pull this on top, scoot that down, and it starts just melting away. But the flavor's there. You know, that's another thing. I think that I watched someone make a recipe similar to this, and they used a kale that they had sliced up, and I think it was a baby kale. I don't know that I've ever used that at all. I don't think that I have. And I may have had it in a salad, but I don't believe I've cooked with it. But the cooking should be exactly like this. We're going to add in our cheese. Then we're going to nestle our chicken back in here. Now, we're going to see if we can get all this chicken in here. You know, it would be, if we had our family still at home, this would probably not be the size skillet that I would have gotten. But because everybody's grown and gone, this is a good size skillet for us. So that's all you do. You take them, nestle them back down in here. All we're going to do, because these did just come out of the oven, but we need them to all come to the same temperature. I tell you what, I'm not going to add that 4th one in there, since it is just Bobby and I, and we'll have leftovers. We may share, I don't know. Let me set that aside. Let me cover this up. I'm going to lower the heat, because it's bubbling pretty high. And we can go back over what we've done. This is the only thing left. We've got a little parsley to go on top of it. When I'm here by myself, I don't, or Bobby and I, we don't do parsley either. When spring comes, I put all these things in my garden. I have a really good selection of things that I can just go and pick. And that just makes me feel so good about I go get parsley, or I have rosemary, or I have thyme, or I have sage. That's easy to grow, easy to find. You can get it at any of the co-op or any place like that, where you will be able to pick up your little bedding plants or your little herbs and things for the spring and summer. Okay, let me tell you what we did, and then, believe it or not, this will be ready to eat. We did this in the length of time that we were talking together today. So, the only thing we didn't do together was the chicken. 4 chicken breasts, or if you don't need 4. The flour. So we just salted, peppered flour. Put it on a pan with a little olive oil, and I stuck it in my Ninja Foodie, which I use that probably 95% of the time now, since it's just the 2 of us. And it bakes, it broils, it fries, air fries. I love it. Okay, so we've got the chicken ready. So now we went into making what we've got in this pot. The butter and mushrooms, sauteed those together. Salt and pepper, cooked them for 3 minutes. Then we added the remaining butter, shallots, and cooked them until they were translucent, another minute or maybe 2. Then we added that gnocchi. I promise you that's good and done, because it says it'll take 2 to 3 minutes, and you know it's been on the stove probably 5. And the garlic, that went in last, so we didn't worry about it burning, and I used my really neat already chopped. Cooked it, poured in the cream and the broth. Then after it's simmered for long enough that it got thick, and if you notice, that juice looks good and thick. I'll take that off in just one more minute. Then we put in the mustard, the zest, the juice, the greens, and the cheese. It says to season with salt and pepper. I don't think that I'll need to do that anymore. And that was after those greens, but that cheese is really salty, so I'm not going to salt it, but you can always salt after. So that's where we're at now. And it looks like should be time for dinner. Can you see how nice and thick that is? I'm going to turn it off because I think it's done. I didn't get out a plate, or I would plate it, but I'm going to put a little bit of parsley over it, which it calls for, which is always nice. If I were doing this for company, of course I would have the parsley, and y'all are better than company. So I hope you'll try this. We'll put the recipe up, or at least put the ingredients and how much when we are doing this. But I just wanted to tell you again, thank you for coming back. We're going to have some fun things going. I think the next one's going to be a dessert that I tried just last week, and it was delicious. And then if you think of something you want me to try, let me know. And trying to think if there's anything else. Just thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back to my kitchen. And another thing I need to do is I need to figure out what I really need to call this, because I need to link it on my my YouTube. So thanks for being here. Thanks for remembering us. And let's cook together, and let's sit at the table and enjoy a meal with our family. Have a great evening, and I'll see you soon.